Welcome to Crypto Talk Radio, the podcast for everyday investors like you. Visit us on the web at cryptotalkradio.net. And now, here's your host, Leister.
Thank you for that, Bailey, and welcome everybody out there in Crypto Talk Radio, found at cryptotalkradio.net. I got paid. No, I don't mean crypto. I got paid through my regular job as a business owner. I got the money I was waiting for, more than I expected to receive, but it's been a long journey. They're finally catching up. It's now only a month delayed as opposed to 3 months delayed when I started with my client. It was 3 months delayed, and then they slowed it down to 2 months delayed, and now it's 1 month delayed. So I can live with 1 month delayed. Yeah, the other was brutal, but I think they understand, because I ran into the ringer about that a long time ago. So I think they're trying to fix it. And other people are affected too. It's not just me. There's thousands of us that are all doing something for the greater. So I got paid, and so now I'm getting all my work around the house done, and I got to pay taxes. My car finally got the last fix that it needed. $6,000, and two full-time people, myself included, because I'm having to do a part of it too. But $6,000 on this business. I forgot how much I paid for the car. I can look it up, but I think I paid 16 grand. So you figure, and it's only got 66,000 miles on it, by the way. And I had to it's a plug-in electric. I had to replace the battery, which is the most expensive component. But even all told, $22,000 is still cheaper than what it would be to buy the equivalent car now, because the equivalent car with the same types of features, or at least similar types of features, easily would be a minimum of $35,000. So it's not, and then the vast majority of them, they don't believe in CD players anymore. Screw that, bro. Because I was playing Jack Moves, which is one of my favorite bands now, the Jack Moves. Pop the CD in there and just play it, Screw that Bluetooth and all that nonsense. No. Just pop a CD and be done with it. No internet needed. None of that nonsense. It's just a great experience. I love my car. I really do love my car, especially now that I got that last piece fixed. That's been a problem since I bought it in 2023. It was just, Ford, they're idiots, didn't know how to triage the damn thing. So they kept telling me nothing wrong. Deep. I'm like, yeah, there's something wrong with this car. So at this shop, they're like, yeah, it's obvious. The codes are right here. It's obvious what's going on. I don't know why you dealt with that. So let's toss some crypto, see what we got going on today for the fun stuff. Coindesk.com. We are going to zoom out to the month chart. We are going to start with Bitcoin today, only because neither really had too much significant going on, but Bitcoin had a little bit better of it. On the month chart, at least, everything looks like it's in the green, but not in the high climbs over the past 24 hours. A low of 23.5, just shy of 23.6, a high of 96,000. Now that's volatile, but it basically just settled back into the groove that it had been, because if you think about what was going on before, we were about the 95,000 mark. So although it is higher and trending upward now, it's not a strong upward trend like you might have wanted it to be. Ethereum, meanwhile, the same thing. Over the past month, it looks like it's middling sideways. Over the past 24 hours, a low of just shy of $1,800, high of 1,800. And right now 1,800. I said, if Ethereum's not running, really, we're not going anywhere. And a lot of this stuff you're seeing is raw manipulation and not really valid. I maintain that. Everything we see is, I don't want to say it's fake, 'cause that's not true. It's just manipulation. Meanwhile, the other alts don't look very much better. Solana 147, BNB 600. BNB, of course, is the best of the bunch, because there was a time BNB was like $300. So BNB is the best of the bunch because they have the burns and everything they're doing to take care of. Plus, there's rumors that Binance is doing extra to pump the price of its own BNB token over some of these other ones that are getting kicked off the exchanges. I can't say that's really what's happening. I'm just sharing that news that apparently BNB is just getting more attention than some of the other stuff listed on the Binance exchange. Separately, the Senate is giving grief over the crypto and what Trump's trying to do, mostly because of Trump's meme coin ventures, as well as the World Liberty Financial and everything else. They're basically saying that he's being enriched by it, and that's emoluments violations. It's not really, but that's what they're saying that it is, because a lot of the crypto stuff has nothing to do with Trump himself other than his name on it. He's not involved in the day-to-day ops. He's not involved in any of the other things, but he does hold cryptocurrency bags. He shared it himself. Now, if we expect that holding cryptocurrency, as long as it's disclosed, is not a bad thing, and it's an even playing field, because we know most of Congress is sitting on bags too. The question then is, are you really going to go after Trump for that? And then that other idiot, I forgot what her name is, but she's whining and crying about, apparently there's some photo of Trump cosplaying as a pope, and that got people pissed off. And it's like, don't you understand the guy's a troll? Like, he was doing the Ulafala from WWE and had somebody calling him the tribal chief. He's a troll. That's what he is. He plays around, and yet these Democrats, they just get set off when he does that stuff. But yet when there's all sorts of other really legit things going on, you don't hear a peep out of these people. That's why you know some of this is just fake. It's fake outrage. So I don't pay attention, but unfortunately that fake outrage is impacting the speed with which we can get smart cryptocurrency regulations and a Bitcoin reserve, which I know Trump's been strong about. So at least at the federal level, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But at state level, at least New Hampshire approves the first state-level strategic Bitcoin reserve law. They're the first. Many states have been talking about it. Florida recently shot it down. Arizona, Katie Hobbs, she shot it down. New Hampshire said, no, we're putting this in. So it passed into law. Apparently, Arizona's going to go back to the well. I don't know if it's going to work, but New Hampshire is the first. And New Hampshire surprises me. I did not expect them to be the first. I expected Wyoming to be the first. So this went effect today, literally as I record that, authorizing the Treasury to hold Bitcoin in a regulated reserve structure. The nonprofits actually came together, put together a framework for doing this, and said this is what we should be able to do, and use Bitcoin as a financial reserve asset for state government. Quote, New Hampshire is once again first in the nation. Just signed a new law allowing our state to invest in cryptocurrency and precious metals, unquote. So, if you didn't know, New Hampshire is the live free or die state. It is the definition of everything that Donald Trump screams about and other states have gone far away from, where they want to control what you do, control how you do it, lock you down, not let you do freedom and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not trying to sell you on New Hampshire, by the way. I'm not in New Hampshire. But seeing them do this and seeing them be the first to do it and seeing them proudly do it does make me think maybe I'm in the wrong place. Maybe that is where I should be, and maybe that's where I should end up going at some point. I do like my house, though. I don't like where I am, but I like my house. Like, my house has so much potential once I'm finished with all the renovations. So it's going to be a struggle, but it is something to keep my eye on. New Hampshire now, given that they made the smart move, where all these other states are basically just stupid in comparison. Also, as a side note, tree pollen is killing me right now, so there may be a bit of sniffling and whatnot happening. I'll do the best I can to suppress it, but it's starting to overcome me and has been beating me up for the past couple of days. Regardless, back to Bitcoin. And a wallet coming from the Satoshi era, so you're talking early 2000s, mid 2000s, and shortly after 2009-ish, so somewhere in that span, a whale wallet, or at least a couple of them. From that time, there was apparently associations to the Silk Road, and of course, Silk Road was the origin, the true origin of Bitcoin as it became. But apparently these wallets were somehow tied to the Silk Road, and now $324 million worth of Bitcoin has started to move after 12 years of inactivity. This was always expected to happen. We expected that there was these other monolithic wallets sitting out there, sitting on major amounts of Bitcoin at the time, that were going to affect the price a little bit later on because they had so much of it. Because if you didn't know, Bitcoin at some point, there's the story about the guy who bought a pizza with 1,000 of them and all this stuff. So the price of Bitcoin was extremely nothing at its early phases. And so some people were just given, when they were minting them, some people were given boatloads of them, thousands of them. So now they were sitting on it for this long, and you might have people who are going to just do major dumps on Bitcoin, which is why I speculated we might have another crash like we had before, possibly not to the FTX level, but certainly down beneath the 60-something mark at some point. People said I was crazy, and maybe I am, because it maybe Michael Saylor's stuff with MicroStrategy will help Boy be supportive of the Bitcoin, maybe, but I think we're going to have some price dips as the price increases and we start seeing some of these earlier wallets kind of wake up and move and get to that point. Because, if they're smart, let's say they got 10,000 in there they could sell 1,000 and be set for life. I mean, come on. And then they just wait for Bitcoin to, double or triple and do it again and do it again and do it again, just double on the way out. But at that point, there'd be so much money in it that it wouldn't make a dent, in you or I, presumably. But that assumes you have more saturation in cryptocurrency than we do. One saving grace of the amount of dump risk is that price is going to dip. And if they're smart enough with the sells as they sell off as they're expected to, as more volume is sold off, the price of it's going to go down simply because of the way that the price moves. So the one saving grace is the potential that this will help preserve price if they're smart enough, or if they're stupid, it'll kill price in the short term and salvage it in the long term. Time will tell. We'll have to watch what happens. And I don't think it's anything to worry about, but it is something to be mindful of as we see what they do. There's roughly about 3,000 Bitcoin, at least in this one, but I guarantee you there's others out there. This is just scratching the surface for sure. Despite the chatter about reserves of Bitcoin, the United Kingdom basically says, screw that, we're not doing that, bro. Has no plans to establish a national Bitcoin reserve. Allegedly, this is what I was given to understand, allegedly the United Kingdom has a crap ton of Bitcoin that it has stashed from enforcement. So they've taken it, they have it stocked, but they're not doing anything with it on purpose. Many of the people who were behind agencies that are overseeing the use of such assets have come out and said, this is your opportunity to use that for good. You could use it for pensioners. You could use it for other things that actually help the country. So it's stupid to just sit on the stuff. Even if you're not going to add to it, at least use the stuff that you do have and do something with it. But they refused. Quote, we don't think that Bitcoin reserve is appropriate for our market. We understand that's what the U.S. is going for, but that's not the plan for us. Bitcoin has historically been a highly volatile asset class relative to stable fiat currencies like the U.S. dollar and commodities such as gold. The government considers that this volatility makes Bitcoin unsuitable as a reserve asset for the UK. Given this, Treasury has no plans to adopt a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And again, the United Kingdom holds Bitcoin. So we're not saying that they're against it. They're against using it from a strategic perspective. They're against using it to actually benefit the frickin' United Kingdom, which I think that's really hilarious. Allegedly, they hold over 61,000 Bitcoin. You can, if you're in the UK or you're aware of people that are in the UK, you can imagine how that might actually help the frickin' country for them to be smart and actually use assets that they have instead of holding them hostage. Now, the flip of that is them holding it hostage and not doing anything with it amounts to a burn. Because if they're not going to sell it and they're not going to use it to benefit anything, it means it actually holds value. But if they were to sell it, it would benefit at least the people in the UK. And it would free up assets on the cheap for people that want to buy in off the dips. So time will tell what happens here. But right now, United Kingdom basically says, screw you, bro. We're not going to do that. I'm going to close today's episode with a very mysterious story. I can't call it a tragic story because we can't confirm it actually is the truth or whatever. Here's the background. There's some sort of a project called Zerebro. I don't know anything about this crap at all, and the name tells me I should have avoided, but Zerebro apparently has this guy who's well-known, Jeffy, and apparently there were people that were sitting on some sort of a live stream on pump.fun that he was part of, and allegedly he committed suicide on this stream. Now, this is not confirmed. Nobody verified it. There was no such recorded video. There was a post on legacy.com, which is a site that you could pay to have like obituaries posted if you want to, briefly up there with the guy's picture and all the information. And I did see snippets of what it was before it was taken down, because they took it down. When Legacy was confronted about it, they said, well, it's because we didn't get verification that the person actually died. Because you're supposed to submit like a death certificate and other verification. You pay, and then you have to submit this documentation proving the person is actually deceased so you don't get fake. So there was a photo, there was an obit, and I'll read what the obit said before they took it down. Quote, a martyr of imagination and creativity, Jeffy, a visionary artist, technologist, and cultural force, passed away in May 2025 at the age of 22. His life, though brief, was lived with intensity, brilliance, and a devotion to creation that he hoped would inspire others for eternity. A tech prodigy from an early age, Jeffy entered Stanford University at just 15 to study computer science. Stop. And the rest is cut off because it's just a screen cap. But this reads like something he wrote himself. I'm going to be honest. This reads like something he did himself. And people speculated that this was a stunt to pump his garbage meme token. Also, people noticed that his wallets were doing dumps after he allegedly died. And of course, we have no evidence with no video, with nothing to prove he actually did die. So we don't know that he did or didn't. We see alleged mentions that he did, but nobody can prove that he did. I'm going to simply just say, and the reason I let this for last is to simply put the message out there. There's a number of these situations coming up with these crypto bros doing these stunts to try to pump tokens. We had the guy covered, and YouTube had to age restrict it because I didn't even advocate or do anything. I basically just explained this, but these crypto bros are doing these stunts and they're getting a lot more serious about it. And I want to make sure I send a message from my platform that I do not advocate or support any of this garbage. And I'm going to recommend that you avoid anybody who's getting into crypto to a degree that they feel like they want to do this. It's not safe. It's not correct. And it's not what we should be about. What you do with your cash is a different thing and it's up to you. But I'm asking and imploring you not to allow this kind of garbage to, happen to you. I don't want to see this happen to you or something else, even if it's fake. It's not the point. When you're doing that, you're telling other people it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to do this, and it's not okay to even play at doing it. None of it's okay, and none of it's satisfactory. So I'm condemning, is my point, what has allegedly happened, whether it did or didn't. It's not cool, it's not correct, and it's not where crypto should be. And it's the reason cryptocurrency has not thrived, because of crap like this still infesting the space. You don't have seriousness. Until you have seriousness, it's not going to take off because the institutionals don't want to see this crap, but it seems to keep happening. So it's up to all of us, you, me, everybody else, some of the YouTubers that don't do it. It's up to everybody to denounce behaviors like this and make sure that we are on the level telling people the right things, the right behaviors, the right ways to focus and make this thing thrive, because that benefits all of us, not just these arrogant jackoffs doing this crap. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to hold fast, and that's all I'm going to say about that one. Let's close up and let's wrap up with a high-level message. Cryptocurrency has a risk of going back down. I hope it does, but it's a risk. It's not guaranteed. There's no evidence that it will, but with this whole Silk Road move of these older wallets and a lot of money possibly being shifted out, with what's happening with the different, like the Bitcoin reserve denials and the states not wanting to do it, and all the turmoil happened there, plus the tariff war nonsense and everything that's going on has a risk of causing cryptocurrency to go down. I'm going to tell you, like I always told you, that everything should be looked at as an opportunity if it does dip down, because it is going to go back up. But unless I see Ethereum go on a run, I think it's fake. I think it's artificial pumps that's not going to last. Whether I'm right or wrong, time will tell. In the meantime and in between time, the worst thing you could do, again, is to buy into different projects. You're not too late. It's just that if you're expecting to be that millionaire overnight, that's not going to happen. We're past that era. At this point, it's a long play. Everything's a long play. You're talking 5 years, possibly more for some of these, because a lot of these took years to get to that point. So you can't expect to be a millionaire overnight. And if you don't have the patience, then get out of it. But there's an opportunity if you do have the patience for long-term wealth. And don't put more than you can afford to lose, because it's all a gamble at the end of the day regardless.